you trying to get crazy with this scene? Don't you know I'm loco?
And it took you to prison.
Took me to prison.
Yeah.
It was probably, next to my kids and grandkids, it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Why?
Because I found out that I had a God-given talent. You know, it took me to go there to really know that I could make something out of my life. At that point, I didn't know.
What's happening, everybody? This is Bobby Ruiz, a.k.a. Bobby Tribal. And once again, it's time for the Lower Left Podcast. We're right here at 17th and Island.
Sorry.
And this is Johnny Be Good most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time.
Occasionally, he'll fuck it
They
up.
keep telling me to be good,
Yeah,
so
but-
that's why they got to throw it in my name.
Yeah, there we go. So, but we're right here at the Lower Left, San Diego, beautiful, sunny San Diego. And today we have someone I consider my brother, my road dog, because we've been all over the damn place. Another one of those survival stories, I would say. An inspirational dude. Big Tiny is right here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. And I don't even he's fuck. Man, I don't even know where to start with this dude, but he's got an amazing story. He's been through a lot of shit, and he's definitely has found a way to turn a negative into an amazing positive with just the things that he's done in his life and his travels and his business, his family. A real blessed dude. And if you don't know anything about Tiny, then you're about to learn. But what's happening?
Nice. Living life, enjoying it.
Yeah.
Enjoying it.
What do you think of San Diego so far today?
It was a different experience. Never had that experience, you know?
Yeah.
Beautiful out there.
Yeah.
You're in a prime location right here.
Yeah, man. We went on that bike ride this morning, and then we went and had lunch down by the beach in OB, and just kind of came back to do this. But so Tiny, I got a shit ton of names for him, but we're gonna keep this. We're gonna keep this really cordial. We're gonna keep it cordial and clean, because the fucked up thing is he's got just as many for me.
Comebacks.
So yeah, he's got those comebacks. So we're not gonna share those with the audience today. Cool.
Cool. I'm cool.
Cool. That's equally beneficial, right? Like, you know, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Are we gonna go there? But we won't even go there because
That's private
He
time.
does fuck me up sometimes, but
all the time.
See? No, not all the time. I get you too, but we've had some beyond amazing experiences together.
The best.
Yeah, man. Some of the best of times I've had with this dude. But so I know, from what I know, is you're from Anaheim.
Yeah.
Is that where you were born and grew up? And what happened in Anaheim?
I was born in Westminster, California, and we moved around. And my parents bought a home in Cypress. Nice area.
Mm-hmm.
Nice area. And grandma grew up in Buena Park. They're right down the street. And then right down the street was Anaheim. And Anaheim became a part of my life when I started running the streets. Mm-hmm. And the streets is what made this story.
Yeah.
You know, if it wasn't for me getting involved in the stuff that was going on in the early 90s,
mm-hmm.
you know, I wouldn't be here talking.
Yeah. So where did the whole street activity start? Like, you were just a kid?
We're just a bunch of friends hanging out, started tagging. Next thing you know, the guns came into play, mm-hmm. led to prison. Mm-hmm. And that was the story.
So you were into the tagging. Were you like one of those where you were like, was it more for the neighborhood or
it was just getting up.
Tagger crew?
It was a tagger crew. Just getting up. That was the whole thing.
So it was kind of, but you guys had style to your tags.
Yeah, we had style to the tags, you know, and then we got pressed and we ended up carrying guns, you know.
Yeah. And then
prison.
how old were you when all that started? And what else were you doing besides writing on walls and shit when you were a kid?
I was like, at that time, when the writing on the walls, you know, I was slanging weed, playing video games, you know, buying the freshest hats and, you know, trying to just
be a cool kid.
Be a cool kid, you know. I had everything, but it was just, I was bored, I guess, and wanted to step outside of the box and see where it could take me, you know?
Yeah. And it took you to prison.
Took me to prison. Yeah. It was probably next to my kids and grandkids. It was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Why?
Because I found out that I had a God-given talent. You know, it took me to go there to really know that I could make something out of my life. At that point, I didn't know. At that point, it was more of, you know, sending $35 to the house to contribute or to put drugs in my arms and smoke it and have a fat locker, you know?
And by the time you went to prison, did you already have kids?
Yes, I had kids. And I had one on the way right when I caught my term.
So you're saying that it was enlightening for you.
Yeah, I needed it. If I didn't get popped at that time, I would have probably been dead or not even here, you know? But I found out that I went there for a reason. And it took some time, you know? It took, cause I didn't get into tattooing until I hit prison. I always drew. My dad made me draw circles when I was a kid.
Your dad's an artistic man, too.
Yeah.
Checo.
Yeah.
He's a good man, dude.
Yeah. He has
good parents.
Yeah. They came from Mexico.
Yeah.
They're dreamers, you know, they provided, they got a beautiful home. They worked hard, you know, and then here's my ass fucking it all off. You know what I mean?
How hard it is for me right now not to talk shit.
You know,
isn't this feels a little bit odd?
It's a reflex or what?
Yeah.
To talk shit.
Whenever Tiny and me get together, that's pretty much the conversation is always jabs and talking shit. And, you know, we go just,
we go hard.
we do. So I'm like, when he says shit, usually if we're just doing what we do, just hanging out, it's like, we're talking like it's just jabs, constantly jabs, and I'm just refraining. So you might renege on what you say. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So you had, I know your parents, and they're beautiful people, great people. And so your parents were good, but you just found yourself just doing you.
Yeah.
And you ended up with kids, locked up, enlightened, found out you were an artist, and you started tatting where?
In prison. That's where I started. I was drawing a picture for Lisa. I was going to send her some envelope. This guy came up and he's, tattoo that on me. And it was a broad, you know? And I'm like, I can't tattoo. I never touched a machine in my life. He goes, no, you'll be good. Because you could draw like that. You could draw on skin. Went out his way, got the machine.
Tell us about the machine.
First machine. It was
in detail.
It was
a lot of people don't, you know, they hear about those machines, but
a lot of the machines come from when I was busted was the Walkman. If you had a old Walkman or caught a dead Walkman, you break it down, take out the motor, save the wires. You have batteries and whatever pieces you had access to, you made a machine with a ballpoint pen and string or whatever you could do to make the machine work, you know? And I recently made a machine out here. It's actually harder to make a machine out here than it is inside.
Why?
Because you had everything at arm's reach.
Yeah.
So it was trippy figuring that out. But so we made it.
But so the needle was a guitar string.
Guitar string. Sometimes there was a broom that had metal bristles in the middle. Get that, sand that down. We had a plug at the medical, so they took some of the needles and sterilized them and brought them back.
What'd you use for ink?
A lot of times we make our own. We burn some chest pieces and catch the soot and mix it with baby oil or whatever kind of liquid to make it. But then sometimes we had guards that wanted drawings. And he says, hey, I need a drawing. Well, I need some ink. Next thing you know, they're raiding the cell. You're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And you go in and there's a bottle of ink in your cell.
So they were raiding the cells to hook you up.
Yeah.
Wow. So the machine was Walkman motor. I've seen these machines. Sometimes they would use parts of a toothbrush to stabilize the pen,
barrel,
the pen part. So the barrel was like a ballpoint pen.
Yeah.
And then the guitar string would come off the motor and shoot through that ballpoint pen. It would kind of feed through the ballpoint pen. And then the motor was in the back. And then it would all be wrapped together with either rubber bands or
a toilet paper roll with tape.
Yeah. Whatever.
To hold the batteries.
So that's what you started with.
That's what I started
So
with.
how did it come out?
You know, at the beginning, that first tattoo?
Yeah.
Oh, the broad I did on him looked like she was up for months. Like, her eyes were all twig. And he's all, you know what? I see it in you. He goes, we'll just put Lokes on her later.
You just did a tweaker chick.
Yeah, straight up tweaker chick.
Nice.
But then when people saw that, they're like, oh shit, because they see me in the day room doing these 3 or 4 page letters with this handwriting, you know, and drawing on the envelopes. So like, fuck it, let's go to Tiny. I fucked a lot of people up, but I learned it. Next thing you know, I had Cadillac coffee and spreads and, you know.
Yeah, they were treating you good because you were tattooing. Tiny. Who started calling you Big Tiny?
Well, when I was young, my tia, she clowned me because of my size. Hi, Tiny. So a couple of the homies, they started calling me like, hey, stop calling me that. You know what I mean? Oh, Tiny this, Tiny that, making jokes, you know?
Yeah.
So when I caught my term, one of the homies was giving me game, said, you're going to go in. This is going to be your name. All right, cool, you know? Went in, and then when I hit the yard, I met one of the older homies, rest in peace. He's all, Tiny. You ain't Tiny, you're Big Tiny.
Yeah.
And it just stuck. And
for people that don't know Tiny or have never seen Tiny, Tiny's a big dude. And he was a bigger dude.
Bigger.
I've seen him be medium tiny, big tiny, small tiny.
To 4X Tiny.
Yeah, right now he's healthy Tiny.
Healthy.
He's looks good. I know you've been in better shape than you are right now, but you still holding it together real nice. So yeah, when people trip out when they come around, it's Tiny, and then Tiny shows up and it's this fucking big old dude. But so
it's killing you. You want to talk shit?
Dog. Yep.
I see it in your face, dog.
I'm not gonna crack, bro. I'm gonna do my best.
So how'd you guys meet?
I met Bobby.
By accident.
I was an art director for Sick Jacket of the Cycle Room. And at that time, I met Bobby through different things, but never really.
We ran in the same circle.
Yeah, I ran the same circle, and then Jack was
too.
Yeah,
Big Lucky.
Shout out to Big Lucky.
Love Big Lucky.
And then I was living in Hawaii, and Jackie, hey, Bobby's coming through with his sons, and so me and my family, you know, went over there, picked him up, took him around, took him to the pad.
I knew you before that,
but that's when we really
connected. But did we go to Spain before that?
No, it was after.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
Because we went to a convention in Spain.
Yeah.
With Dane. Shout out Dago Dane.
Dane.
And who we've also had some amazing times with, because Dane, Tiny, and I have done a lot of trips together.
That's like your bodyguards, Dane and Big Tiny.
It's funny. People tell me, hey, they said they saw you here, they saw you there, and you had these big old dudes with you. That's just how it happens. Like, it's not planned or anything, but you know, anyway, so that trip to Hawaii, because Tiny, we'll get to the Hawaii thing. I guess we can get to that now, but Tiny lived in Hawaii for a long time, and he was, fuck, dude, that was an amazing experience. And the boys were tripping because they could get in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
You know, and Tiny has sons and I have sons, and we went out there, and, they did a great job of taking us to the non-touristy spots, to the cool beaches where the locals hang out. And Tiny had the Hawaii hood pass.
Yeah.
You know, he's got people out there that, you know, we could go to those beaches as long as they were with us, and everything was cool. So it was, Fuck, that was a bomb ass trip.
It was
What
cool.
what island were you living on?
Oahu.
Oahu.
Lived on the east side, close to the North Shore.
What's the neighborhood called?
Haula.
Yeah. So tiny. And then we went out there for the Jack Johnson Kakua Festival.
Yeah.
I think that was the time we were out there. Cause my family and I are all big Jack Johnson fans. So I think I just had the boys with me.
Yeah, it was just you and the boys, and then we all went to the concert that night.
Yeah. And we snuck somebody in.
Yeah,
or something.
one of my kids.
Yeah. Threw them over the fence, or I don't know what it was.
But we all got in. It was a fun time.
It was good. But I was tripping because I love Hawaii, man. The people, the culture, everything. And I hate to go places where I feel like I know they're very, very protective of their beaches and what's theirs and their culture. And there's a lot of people go out there and just with total disregard for that. So being with Tiny and being able to experience some of the real Hawaiian, neighborhood type stuff. Cause there's these neighborhoods that ain't so pretty, and they're like 2 blocks from the beach, a block from the beach, like badass beaches. And you're like, well, how does this happen? That's because they don't let anything else happen. That's just how it is. Right.
Yeah. Real, old school Hawaii.
How'd you end up in Hawaii, and how did you like that?
My partner, my best friend, family, Creeps. I grew up with this family, and, Hawaii was like, I wanted to see Hawaii ever since before I met them. My history was like one of my favorite subjects. And their older brother, my best friend, he got shot. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He got shot when we were in 9th grade. He got shot in the face. So his pop sent him out to Hawaii. So I was missing my friend. I'm going to Hawaii. I want to go visit my friend. So I went out there and I was like, fuck, it's a whole different world.
You went by yourself?
I went by myself. I was 14, 15, went out there and I'm like, I'm coming back.
Well, people you could be mistaken as Hawaiian.
Yeah, they think I'm Samoan,
Hawaiian,
but people trip out like I'm full-blooded Mexican.
You're going to leave that one alone too. Just gonna let that go.
You're setting yourself up, and then it's just...
you know what? He lacks attention. That's what it is.
Okay, we'll let him have that one. Okay, so... But, so you were 15, you went out there to see your friend, and then you fell in love with Hawaii.
I fell in love. Just the whole aloha vibe. The way that I was treated in that house was everywhere over there. No worries. Just that aloha spirit. And I fell in love with the culture. It's very similar to the Mexican culture.
Yeah.
They're just on a rock. Yeah. But that became a big part of my life. Ended up getting out of prison, going out. My friend was in the military. So I went back and started tattooing all the military dudes. Mm-hmm. I was going back and forth every month. I was in Hawaii every month. And then an opportunity came by and for me and my family. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. Fuck it. Sold everything. And we moved to Hawaii for about a year. And so they had a summer vacation for a year.
I thought it was more than
No, it was a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been out there. I lived out there 2 years.
So the family came out for a year.
Yeah.
And then you lived out there another year.
Yeah, I was there before when I was on the run. That's where Creeps pops.
What'd you like to do in Hawaii? I know what you like to do in Hawaii.
Surf all day. Or body surf.
Tell them about your bodyboard.
I have a McDonald's tray. I use a McDonald's tray.
But it's pretty common out there.
Yeah, it's pretty common. Like some people can't afford boards. They either use their flip-flop or some kind of object, and McDonald's tray is like pretty ideal. Yeah, you put that thing on the water and
just
you go.
On the float, huh? Yeah.
You go.
So tell us about the McDonald's tray. How that works.
So we just go to McDonald's in the morning, eat some breakfast, and then when they're not looking, snatch that tray, and you go catch a wave, and it just takes you like
a bodyboard.
Like a bodyboard. You got better control.
I remember you took me to this, or you took us to the spot. I think it was called Pounders.
Pounders. That's my spot right there.
Dude, those fucking waves crashed hard right on the beach.
Right on the beach.
Wouldn't that just slam your ass? That's probably why it was called Pounders.
That's why it's called Pounders. But the wave and just the pitch and the tube, like there's nothing like it. To me, that's like heaven. If people wanted to find me, if they couldn't go to my house, they knew where I was at. I had some people from Japan. They went to my house. I wasn't there. They pulled up the Pounders. I was right there in the water.
Yeah.
Cause every day I had to take my kids to school and every day I pass it. So when I come back, I pull in. If it was cracking or not, I was in that water every day.
that's the thing I know about Tiny, and we were having this conversation earlier today. Is he loves the ocean. Like he loves, and you said you surf pretty much every day. You're in the water every day this week.
This
right?
week, yeah, almost every day.
Yeah, and then when we were in Hawaii, that's what it was about. And then when we'd go to the Philippines, which we've been there 5 times together, that was it. Like I took this picture of him where he was flying off a cliff, and his arms are spread open. He looks like like
an eagle.
Yeah,
Going home, huh?
Yeah,
To the
just
ocean.
flying off this cliff, about to hit the water, and that shit. Dude, that was at least, I don't know how many, that was
About
40,
50 feet,
50
about 50
up
feet
at
high,
least.
head first.
Yeah. That was some crazy shit, but he's always had this crazy, and I think that probably comes from, like all of us is people think that don't know us or aren't from Southern California or aren't from our circles, that we're focused on oldies and lowriders and tattoos and cholismo. You know what I mean? Where the reality is we grew up here and we go
it's
to
diverse.
the beach and we skate and I tried surfing when I was in college for a while, and I was okay for a minute, and then I got held under too long and I gave it up.
Yeah, you gotta respect that water.
Yeah. But just for people to know that this dude right here, like, look at him, he's the epitome of, gang, prison, tattoos, but you'll find him at the beach in the water, or and every chance he gets in. I'm not going to look at his feet right now, but I tell you, I rarely, it's been fucking pouring rain, he rarely wears shoes.
Yeah.
Rarely. He 95, at least 95% of the time, he's in flip flops.
Even where I live right now, it snows.
What do you got?
I got shoes today.
You gotta stay ready.
Because we were doing the bike ride. I think that might have been it. But and then when he travels, I was telling my boys. Well, I was telling Isaac, we were just on a trip, that Tiny's always in slides, compression socks up beyond his, like, to your knees, and then your black slides, black compression socks, usually black shorts that go beyond the compression socks. So he just has like his whole travel plan going. So speaking of travel, I know you've had the opportunity to travel. Fuck, dude. Like, where have you been?
Almost every continent. Every continent. Like Europe, all over the place. South America, the Asias. I haven't hit Africa yet. That's on the bucket list.
Yeah.
But been around.
You think? So so you've been to some countries I know in Europe that I haven't been to. We were just talking about Prague. And did you say you went to Hungary?
Went to Hungary. Got a good friend out there. Yeah.
Hungary. That's what I meant. Hungary.
Man, the city named Budapest.
Yeah.
Beautiful city. All Eastern Europe. Like, Eastern Europe is way different from the Western Europe.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot older. It's just, if you're into architecture,
mm-hmm.
that's the place to go peep out, because these people work with their hands, and the stuff that they built
mm-hmm.
is fucking amazing. Like, it'd blow your mind on these churches. Like, you got churches here, it's just a warehouse with a cross. Mm-hmm. These churches over here have little fucking gold tiles that does a mural that's like 50 feet high.
Mosaic murals.
Oh, man. And then the arcs and just everything is just insane.
What was the most impressive country you've been to, like, where you were really inspired or moved by the culture, the architecture, the history? Just, I know it's hard to compare them because they're so different, especially when you're comparing Asia to the European countries. But
I think for me would be Japan.
Really?
Japan. I mean, the culture's still there. You know what I mean? Like, you go to some places where you have people outside just trying, because of tourists, and they're trying to, they dress like they did back in the 1300s, and, I know it's that culture, but Japan, I mean, you still see geishas walking on the street, you know? They're still like, there's this one time I went to a restaurant, and I left a tip. This is like my first time going out, venturing by myself, eating by myself, because usually I have people watching over me. And I tipped, So I took off. Not the lady. She chased me down. She goes, no. You know, trying to tell me, you know, it's included in the service. She said, I'm not taking it. No, she insisted. So I took it. So she bowed down. So I was walking down, and I had this weird feeling. I looked back, and I was probably like 3-4 blocks down. She was still bowing. I hit the corner. Right when I hit the corner, I kind of like looked back. She got up and then went. And that just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like just like their culture is just different. The respect. It could be like one time we're walking through the mall and we seen this guy and they bow and talk and he starts laughing. I go, who's that? He goes, oh, that's my enemy. No. I'm like, that's crazy. You know, like you got to respect the enemy, you know? Like, I'm like, damn, if that was back home, that's a different story, you know? But they bowed, they talked, and they gave each other that respect.
So we have some mutual friends out there as well. Mm-hmm. Masa and the dudes from
the Wannabes. Yeah.
And to me, that was a trip. The first time I met those dudes, because, you know, they look like Japanese homeboys. And I mean, now you've seen them throughout the years, like different Japanese, like cholos or homies. But these dudes have been around a long time. But a lot of what's happened in Japan now is they've become their own style, their own people, their own variants of what we do here, or their own stuff. You know, they're active in their own activities, just to put it that way. But I think that the culture there, you're right. A lot of it is still there. There's a lot of what you see with you know, the culture and the theater culture and things like that, but you do see a new generation as well.
Yeah, you do. But they still have their culture. You know, they still walk by the temples. They go in, they pray, and they take off. If they had that here this day, like in art, these kids have no respect like that no more. You know, it's different. Yeah. And their stuff is like passed on. Even though tattoos are like forbidden over there, you got the kids that are punk rock and tattooed. But when it comes down to respect and their culture, it's instilled in them.
Yeah. And there's different ways that they conduct business and they approach people. And like you said, the way that they greet people, the way that they say goodbye, and the way that, like, you know, doing shit like that. So that was kind of, Japan kind of stood out to you from all the places you've been.
Well, that was like the first place I went. Big Lux hooked it up, you know? Mm-hmm. He said, I got some dudes that want you to come out of Japan. I go, how'd that go about? And the guys that I went with Shaw and Masa, that's where Cartoon was going.
Yeah.
And Cartoon was caught up with all these big corporation deals. You know, he was just when the time I went, he was doing the T-Mobile and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And Lucky tells him, I got a guy who's just got out of prison. You want that shit? This is the guy. So they fly me out there and I get over there and I see these cartoon arms. Mm-hmm. And to me, you know, I'm like, damn, you got to really put your best artwork on these guys next to that, you know?
Yeah.
But it was just the fact that I was in prison. It was like, cool. You know what I mean? And I didn't get it. It was like, oh, that's cool. I was like, not at that point, but right now is a different story. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I was tattooing like Teen Angel stuff, like the liney work with the big, like cholo, like the old school cholo stuff. You know, they wanted prison work.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like I shouldn't be tattooing this on them, but I didn't tattoo certain symbols, but just the whole idea, like a California dream. That's what they wanted. You know, they study our culture so much, like they study it.
They want that Chicanismo.
They love the brotherhood. You know, it's the same way as a samurai, you know, it's the same shit. And it was Bushido. You know, it was about family, you know, honor, you know, there's a lot of the same stuff that goes on over there. So, but to see it with style and lowriders and fucking, you know, I seen chinos all fucking with their bumblebees and hairnets and come, orale, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like respected it.
It's a trip, right?
It's a trip.
Just to see that influence.
And like when I was first there, it was a trip. I was in a room full of them. They're smoking cigarettes in my hotel room and I'm tattooing. I don't know nobody, you know? And I got a wad of cash over here and I'm thinking back where I'm at. Homeboys, you know, this motherfucker's gonna steal my shit. You know what I mean? I got to keep an eye on it.
I don't know these dudes.
Yeah. But these guys are like solid.
Yeah.
Solid.
And those are the same dudes that you keep in touch with to this
still.
day?
I've been going there since 2004, you know?
Awesome.
Wow.
2004. I even had my own studio over there for a few years.
How many times do you think you've been out there?
Poof, I was going 3 times a year for the past 10 years.
And you would go, you would stay in
Chiba City.
Yeah.
We're in Chiba
I
City.
don't know if I've been there or not.
It's right before it's like Orange County to LA.
So for you trip, like your probably first trips was like just kind of getting a grasp of how the fuck did I get out of prison?
Yeah.
Doing, tattoos with these little prison machines. And now I'm in fucking Japan, or fucking, France or Germany or Spain or the Czech Republic, or you've been all over Europe too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how did you perceive that? Like, what was that? Like, that was probably more than a trip.
Yeah.
Right?
Like,
and getting paid.
And getting paid. It was like when the day I remember I was going to Japan, I was in the shower, like before my flight, I just started crying. Like it just came out and I was like, what the fuck's happening? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, what's going to happen now?
This was like after the first trip?
No,
or before
I jumped the flight over there. I was in the shower. For the first trip. I was nervous. I was just like, I can't believe I'm going over here to tattoo. Mm-hmm. Like I didn't even phantom the idea. Like, it wasn't in the plan. Like I'm going to be tattooing the world. It wasn't in the plan. It just happened. And I got there and it was just like, wow.
They picked you up at the airport.
They picked me up to the airport, treated me like a celebrity. You know what I mean? They took care of me, made sure I was accommodated. And just, I was booked. That was another thing. Some people, when they start tattooing, they go to conventions and they got to hustle. I started off right when I got off parole. I went over there. I was booked in Japan, making money. Like not a couple grand. I mean money. I was making money.
Where you need a carrier to bring
I had to
back.
fly 3 or 4 people at one time. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So different times.
Just to bring Feria
Just
back.
to bring Feria back.
Pobrecito.
I know.
Man, those were amazing times. So, and then we love to eat.
Fuck yeah.
Like that's our, like wherever we go, like, it's good food, it's a couple good, beers or drinks or whatever. And we both love to explore and check out the city and vibe off of people. And we're both real outgoing and friendly people. But as far as like food, like where, and we'll just leave it at that. Where's your favorite food from?
Japan.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
What do you like?
I just like the sushi the sushi is just like, it's just, you go to some joints around here, a lot of people, sushi, but it's not Japanese owned, and I got put up on that kind of, how would you say, like stereotypical, like it's like going to, not to disrespect it, but going to a Salvadorian and getting fucking Mexican food. Yeah. It's just not there. And the presentation and just everything that went behind
the vibe when you walk in the door in a Japanese
people
spot
are greeting you and bowing. And I've been to some amazing food spots. Like there's a menu that went from here to here on Japanese, and they bring this part out. The lady opens the door. She kneels down, closes the door, comes with 4 cups. Here they'll get the tray and go, ba, 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 ba. She get 1 cup, bring it over to you, kneel down, put the thing right there, wipe it, boom. Go to the next one, kneel down to all the cups. They just take their time and their fucking etiquette. It's just like, it's amazing.
You notice that shit.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they don't notice those details. I think that's the artist in you, like really, really focusing and paying attention to what's going on.
And then seeing their architecture from hundreds of years ago, like they're building these big old things with no nails. It's all weight and pressure and the tapestry and just the way the sword movement and just everything. You go to McDonald's, they'll wrap the bag up, tape it up, and bow down and hand it to you. That's McDonald's.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And the packaging, just
everything. Presentation's everything.
Bomb. So that's your spot there.
If I had to take someone,
I'm kind of with you there too. Like I would, if there's some place that I would consider a second home, it's definitely Tokyo.
Yeah.
Shibuya. in particular, like last time I was there, I got Shibuya tattooed on me. Like that's how much I love that spot.
Home. Yeah.
That is, and I'm comfortable there. I know where to eat. I know where to, drink.
You have your fucking local
shop.
spots.
I have all my local spots.
And they always remember you when you come back.
Man, dude, come on. Like there's spots I walk in and they're like, oh, like
Bobby-san.
They greet me, and it's super cool where the little stores are, how to get to Roppongi, how to get to Shinjuku, or how to, the homies are there. Great people. I have my family there too. And my kids are the same way. It's like every chance they get, like, where you guys want to go? Japan. Like, you guys want to go to Europe? You want to go? No. They want to go back to Tokyo. Like that's a shit, but not to say that, Europe isn't a blast. And I know you've spent a lot of time, like we've been to Spain. I don't know where else we went to in Europe, if we went anywhere.
Just Spain.
It was just Spain. And then you had some business you were doing in Germany for a couple years ago.
Yeah, we helped a partner of mine build his tattoo shop.
Where was that?
That was in Ludenscheid. It was on the west.
Say that again.
Ludenscheid.
All right.
It's on the west side of Germany. Germany's a different world too. I love that place.
Yeah.
It's just, the food's like, if you like meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's more of that
and
over
like
there.
Cabbage and but sometimes it's good.
It's bomb.
When it's cold, they set up like those temporary wooden houses.
Yeah.
And you go in there and you get it's like carnitas almost.
Yeah.
It's like fried pork chops, and then they give you like potatoes, and it's steamy hot with the cabbage and stuff. Yeah, see, that's
it's good.
Yeah, and then the late night stuff in Germany, you get shawarma.
Shawarma, yeah, that's bomb.
Falafel, shawarma. Like here, people go for burritos and the taco shops and maybe burger, pizza. Was over out there. It's the late night is like
the doner and all that stuff.
Yeah, the doner stuff, and then also the
pizza. They call it pizza.
The sausages and
the wursts.
Yeah, wursts.
The bratwurst.
Yeah, and they have different ones and stuff. Yeah. So I like the food out there too.
It's good, but it's just like Japan. I could pig out, and I'm walking everywhere, so it balances out.
Yeah.
You eat one meal over there, you're like,
yeah,
you're stuffed, and it's just like, it's cool. But I got a lot of love for that place. But like, if I had to pick, it would be Japan, hands down.
Yeah, and we were talking about someplace I've never been is the Czech Republic.
Yeah.
Like
Prague.
That place sounds amazing.
Yeah. We were on a tour with B-Real and Jack for the Psycho Buddha tour. Creeps just discharged parole, and we went on tour for 30 days. 15 countries, 18 shows on someone else's ticket. You know what I mean? It was all that B-Real Cypress Hill,
Yeah.
And we went out there, and we were in Prague, and Jack and B-Real, they've been traveling 20 something years before us, So we're like, fuck it, let's walk. So we just walked there. I just made sure I had my marker of the building, and I had stickers, put them on the backside of poles, and just follow them all the way back. So we just walk. And Prague is like real old. Like there's some parts of the city where the walkways are real narrow, and the churches, the architectures, it was a whole different planet. I want to go back.
That's on my bucket list.
You have to go. It's
and
beautiful.
There's like catacombs the
catacombs is Paris.
Yeah, but you were saying, oh no, there's that church.
That church, Hortness Kuda. I think I'm pronouncing it right, but it was all made out of human bones.
Oh wow.
Where is it?
Chandeliers. It's like 2 or 3 hours outside of Prague.
By train?
By car. I don't know if there's a train, but
I think Muggs or Esteban.
I think they shot some over there.
Shot some. I've seen some photos of that place.
I think it was a Skull and Bones album they did with all that.
That's crazy. So man, dude, like it's a trip to me to see. Well, you've toured, and you also work with the Psycho Realm, and you've done some stuff with Cypress. On tour, or what
like when I first got out, Big Lucky, I met him in the joint, and I was in the gym, we were in a level 4 yard, and Susie came in, my bunk was right there by the door, so I had to hey, what's up, where you from, and and then we just clicked, and we just started talking, we're doing our thing, we're busted, and then when he had tattooed on him, and we just talked a lot, and we talked about music. We talked about different, we wasn't like, oh, I fucking roll up on this while I'm doing, it wasn't even like that. It was on some different
Cultural
shit.
stuff.
It was on some different stuff. And the whole time I'm telling him this, I don't know who he was, Then he paroles, leaves me an envelope. He goes, open this when I leave. Let's link up. My head, I was just slamming dope with this dude a couple months ago. I'm thinking he might come back. So I open the envelope, and he's in a Skechers ad with Cypress Hill and Cycle Rum. And I'm like, I follow these dudes. That was the time when they had Soul Assassin Radio on, I think of Power 106 or something like that.
What was Sun Doobie?
Yeah.
Damn.
I was all in that stuff. And then here's this guy that's in cahoots with them. I'm telling him everything about me, what I want to do, not knowing who he was.
You found yourself like a degree away from these dudes.
So he gave me his info. I opened the shit. I was like, oh shit. So I got a hold of him when I got out, and that was my plug. He introduced me to Muggs. I was working at Angelus Records with DJ Khalil and Chase Infinite. This was Self-Scientific. And he hooked me up with some people. I was working at Dickies through him. Mm-hmm. So I was with the Soul Assassins, and then Tone Lopez. He was right there working with those guys. And then he became the tour manager for Psycho Realm. And I didn't meet Jack and them till my Japanese connect took me over there to meet them. It was weird.
Who was that, Masa?
Masa. It was all Big Tiny. Jackson was Big Tiny. Big Tiny over. He asked me to do something. I did it. Like right when I got home, I did the artwork. Boom, shot in the morning. Like, fuck. Yeah. What else can you do?
So you've done graphics for them.
Yeah. I shot videos, did the graphics, album covers, stage design.
You went to school, right? Too?
When I got my dad's been in the printing industry for 30 something years. Oh. So right when I was going to work with him, he was a lithographic stripper. That was before Photoshop. He had to cut Ruby and shoot it with the camera. And it was a whole process before the computer came out. So when the computer came out, he was, this is the future. You need to learn this thing. This is going to take over the future. I'm a kid. I didn't pay attention to it. So I picked it up, and then when I got out of prison, I brought my art and scanned it in.
Digitized it.
And then now let me see what I could do with what I learned. And my dad says, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do that. And that was it. He goes, you learn thank you. He told me the pen tool's everything. Once I learned that, you got to figure it out yourself. Yeah. So I started doing it. And then next thing you know, I'm doing designs for Famous Stars and Straps with Travis Barker. Painted a wall on Melrose for him. And then I went to college. I got a degree because, that's what my parents wanted. They wanted a degree. Yeah. I didn't need it at that point because I was already working, doing stuff for Red Bull, and I was doing stuff already. But I went, got the paper, put myself in debt, gave my parents the degree they wanted.
That's cool.
They deserved it.
They deserved it.
Yeah.
They deserved it, because I shouldn't have put them through the shit that I went through, but parents were working, my peers are on the street, my homework was done, there was no problem. Yeah. I was an honor roll student.
How much do you think that that helped you with your tattooing? And I know you're good, your graphic design, you got that, Photoshop, Illustrator. What do you find yourself working in mostly now? Like you're tattooing more, or you're doing graphic design more?
These days?
Yeah.
Man, I'd rather be fishing. Straight up.
No, I didn't ask you what you'd rather be doing.
I balance it. Work. I balance it, Before it was tattoo. Then it was graphic. I just balance it because honestly, I love the graphics better. Mm-hmm. Tattoos, okay. You see your tattoo, homeboy sees it, dope. But with my graphics, I go to Tower Records in different country. I'm like, I did that cover.
Yeah.
You see billboards, or you're
still getting up.
It's still,
it's still a form of internationally getting up. So you get up more with your graphics on a t-shirt for some company or a record or whatever it is than you would with the tattoo.
With the tattoo, yeah. You see more of that than you would. And you have physical, I have physical things of everything I've done in a box. So when my grandkids get older and, okay, check this out. This is what I did. Yeah. But my grandkids already know what Pops does. So
how many grandkids you got now?
I have 4.
I'm jealous.
It's the life. That's what my whole life revolves around right now. You know, it's killing me being out here in California. You know, I rather, you know.
How'd you get so Tiny also has, you live in New Mexico part of the year.
I live in I'm back and forth.
From Anaheim, your shop in Anaheim.
My shop in
What's
Anaheim.
up with New Mexico?
It's just,
how'd you get out there?
My baby's mom's family's from out there.
Uh-huh.
At the time we were living in Hawaii, her dad passed away, and me and my son Julian and my homeboy Johnny were in Japan, and they had like a tsunami watch in Hawaii. I call home and she's all, "How come you haven't called?" I'm like, "I'm across the world. I don't know what's going on, you know? This would happen. So I was like, fuck, she had no one to go to. You know, everyone's taking care of their own, you know? So when I got back, she's all, you know, let's try New Mexico. My mom, I go, you know what? I'll give you that because you've been with me for so many years. Let's go out there. It's cheap. Well, ain't much out there. You know, there's nothing out, just dirt.
And UFOs.
So, we moved out there and, fucking, my kids started dropping seeds. You know, we're all supposed to be there temporary. And I didn't like the place. It was just like, it's too slow for me. My creative circle's over here. You know, everything's going on over here. I need to be over here. But at that was put before me because, you know, it just changed my whole way of thinking now, you know, like,
it's quiet, bro.
It's quiet. It's real.
Too quiet for you right now.
No,
at
but
this point in your life, it's too
perfect.
quiet.
No, it's perfect.
Is it?
It's perfect. I'd rather be there than out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know my people's out here, but you don't got the people honking at you right when the light turns green. You know, you go outside, take out your trash.
We're in New Mexico.
Carlsbad, New Mexico.
And that's then the Carlsbad
caverns are right there, 20 minutes away.
And then you're the reason I said UFOs is because you're pretty close to
Roswell.
To Roswell,
That's right there, an hour away.
Have you seen any shit out there?
I seen a UFO out here.
Tell us about that.
I was at
wait. Were you high?
No, I was sober. We're at Creeps' family's pad. And I come out and I was smoking a cigarette and I look and I see something spinning.
In Anaheim?
No, it was in Corona.
Okay.
And I was like, the fuck is that? Right? So I call my son, Julian. I said, Julian, tell me I'm not seeing something right now.
He was right there with you.
He was right there with me. And Lisa was right there and Damien.
Yeah.
He was right there. And then Damien goes, oh, fuck. And right when he said that, the thing stopped and just fucking
You could actually like
see it. Like it was like,
that's cool.
It was right there. Like,
yeah.
And then it saw us and then fucking boom, it just broke.
Scared it? that wasn't.
Hey, he probably like, I don't know. But like right when Dame said fuck, it stopped. Like it was weird. Then boom, gone.
Like crazy speed.
You know, and I hear people tell stories.
No, because New Mexico is kind of known for
the UFOs.
That activity.
Now San Diego with all the videos they're releasing, but that's pretty cool to have that experience. Like I would like an experience like that.
They're out there.
Yeah,
they're out there. There's some stuff that you can't. I don't think humans could accomplish. They had to have some assistance, especially from the aero, because you see some stuff on the ground. You see some stuff like from across. You got these temples in Japan. You got Egypt pyramids. You got Aztec pyramids. Those were all portals. They're the closest to the sun, you know.
We'll talk about DMT again later.
Yeah,
all the depth that you find from some of these
psychedelics
or just crazy mind altering things that people are saying could possibly be attached to, you know, like how a lot of these things came to be, like the pyramids and UFOs and the strength of the mind and shit like that. But we'll leave that for another time, right? But so New Mexico, you're out there and you have a shop out there too.
Yeah,
right?
I have a private studio over there, and I just go there. Like life right now is real kickback. I'm enjoying it. You know, it's to a point in my life where, you know, it's not about having the nicest car or having, you know, I get to pay my bills and do what I want to do with my talent.
That's right.
You know, and it took some time to figure out, like, man, you're living the best fucking life. Mm-hmm. You know, there was a point where I was work, but I was stressed the fuck out. You know what I mean?
You weren't happy.
Yeah. Success comes with stress.
Hell yeah.
You know? So it was like, so do you want to be stressed out and healthy? And it just something just happened to me over there. And I'm like, you know, I'm all about my grandkids, you know, I want to take them fishing. I want to take them swimming.
Fishing's your shit now.
Oh, I love that shit.
So it wasn't always like that's your new shit.
No, my
I know you fished before growing up, but you're just more into it now.
With my grandkids, I never done stuff with my kids.
So is this saltwater? So
it's just a lake and a mountain.
Lake fishing,
creek fishing.
So how far do you got to go from Anaheim to find that?
No, in New Mexico.
Oh, okay.
New Mexico.
What are you catching?
Trout.
Dope.
Take that shit home, gut it, have the grandkids gut it, fry it, steam it, however.
That's dope.
It's just the catch. That's the fun part. Like, you'll be there for hours, just zoned out like a tattoo.
So that's kind of where your head is right now, just doing stuff like that.
Yeah, just with my grandkids. Because when I was grinding, like my hardest, I didn't have time. I was incarcerated or, I was working too much and I didn't have time for my kids. Or traveling, when my son played football, I coached with him. I was a coach on the team. Mm-hmm. So, I worked too much when I lived here.
Let's talk about something that we've done 5 times. The Philippines. How dope is that? And the people.
Every time you say the Philippines, I smile.
There's beautiful. We've got the best people there. Man. Shout out to Wiki.
Man, the whole camp.
Dondi, man. We love you, Dondi.
Get better, Dondi.
Yes, that's right. Get well soon. Arvin and Jet and everybody. Everybody out there. And what do you think of Dututan, man?
Oh, man, that shit's crazy, dog.
What is that?
Dututan is the biggest tattoo convention in Asia. It's just not a tattoo convention. You got fights, you got live concerts, you got lowriders. I mean, it's this like a big circus, mega event. And the promotion, like the first time I go to the Philippines, we're doing all this radio and sending Philippine traffic is fucked. Like you could go 7 miles and it's going to take 2-3 hours.
Yep. And
we did these as soon as we got off, we did a radio show at 4 a.m, like the wake up show. And then we went to a couple radio stations and we're driving. I'm in the back seat. I'm dozing off and I look over and I see this like 250-foot billboard and I'm on the billboard. And I look
not a
back.
Billboard on me. It was a
LED screen.
It's like bright, like lights, like a giant TV
huge
screen.
And I turned around, looked at the guys are like, yeah, that's you. We pull up. And I'm looking up and I'm like, what the fuck? That's a trip. And then the next day, go to the convention, everybody, even when we got on the plane, we're on the newspaper.
They're handing us newspapers on the plane.
With us on the cover. And it's like, that place showed me what a celebrity's life is like. It's crazy. It's just.
Dude, we would, especially Tiny, because Tiny stands out over there because, he's. Because he's a big dude. You know what I mean?
Tall.
You can tell him the Shrek story. You can tell him.
I didn't mention Shrek. You did. So what does Shrek have to do with it?
Tell the story. I know it's killing you right now.
Tell the story. So, Tiny stands out, and we would go to restaurants. We'd go to the mall because we would go visit the tribal stores, and we'd be with our people. They'd take us out to dinner at the hotel, and it wasn't that they didn't notice me or they noticed anybody else. It was we would be in Boracay or we would be on some island, on a day trip or a trip out jet skiing or whatever we were doing. And people would notice, Big Tiny, and with their accent,
nice tattoo,
Big Tiny. Like everything was like about Tiny. Like he's borderline celebrity out there.
So was that the first time you did that out there when you tripped on your
that was
your
a trip. Bobby was supposed to go with us, and then I ended up going with the people so I'm going with nobody I knew, and it was the best time.
Oh, when I wasn't there was the best time.
Yeah, that was the best time.
Is that what he just said? Yeah, that's fucked up, dog.
Yeah, so it was just it was out of the world. You would. The royalty, I mean, getting pedicured to getting shaved to going to these bomb ass massages and bomb ass resorts to get massaged. Remember that one with the walkway and we only had our own room
on the top of the hill.
Yeah, fuck, that shit was dope.
Because it was a lot of work. Like we had a lot of work to do out there. And then, you know, on the off time, they're like, well, what do you guys want to do? It's like, there's
on a boat. They take us on a boat and they stop and we jump off and dive and people are getting sea urchins. We eat it raw. And then we pull up to this private beach and they're cooking lobster and fish. And it was just amazing. Like,
it's crazy, man.
Did you get to surf out there?
Right in Boracay, they had a little waves. I was looking for a tray, so I just used my chancla. Went out there. But it's man. Every time they say Philippines, I smile. That place is just
a beautiful thing out there, man. There's just the people. We couldn't ask for a better crew and better people, and just the hospitality is beyond anything that most people could even imagine. Just really, really good people, and Tribal is fortunate to do such good business there and have, you know, like I said, the crew and the team, and for me personally being able to invite, you know, people like Tiny and so many others out there to do promo and to go to Tututan and represent for not just the brand but for themselves and you know, they feel like they compensate us for doing
just showing up.
It's a trip, but there's fuck, man, like it's insane. Like, just
you can't describe it. It's just too much.
Yeah, but
it seems like a dream.
Tututan is like it's definitely the largest tattoo convention in Asia, and like Tiny said, like, you know, music, shit ton of bands, and you know, we've taken POD out there, and Sendog's been out there, and all these other, you know, bands and people that we've worked with have come out with us, and DJs, and, you know, a shit ton of tattooers, and Abel and Risk, and, you know, fuck, all kinds of people just to go out there and do that. But fuck, man, that's something. But UI, that people know you as UI. Explain the UI and what your brand is about, your clothing brand, your shop, your store, and give us a little background on that, like where it came from, where it's at, and where it's headed.
The brand UI is Unauthorized Ink, short for Una Ink. And
doesn't the UI have something to do with your neighborhood?
Yeah. Well, we started as a tagging crew, you know, and Unauthorized Ink, my tagging crew is UNA. And then we cut it to Una Ink. And my mom was like, why? You know, how come you picked that name? When we were kids, you know, we had some money. We were doing things we weren't supposed to, but, you know, we started buying some Lolos, and I was like, man, we should have a car club called Unauthorized. You know, we built this brand because of shit they said we couldn't do and we shouldn't do, but we still did it, you know? And then, you know, that faded away because everyone got smoked out when the glass started hitting the streets. So that went out the window, and then went to prison, came out, and then my partner Creeps was slanging dope out of a hotel room. And I was going to college at the time. I go over there, kick it with him. I started dabbling with the meth with him. And he's all, you should start a brand. Use your art. Start the brand. And I'm like, I'm down, you know, but I don't have a name yet. So the name was, we didn't have a name yet. So he goes, here, what do you need? You need money? Put money on the table. He goes, do what you got to do. You know, me, I used to have a selling dope background, you know, when I was a kid. That's dope money. That's not like money he worked for, you know. There's an attachment to that, a certain attachment to that. So I was very hesitant to take that money, you know, because I grab it, I have to produce. So I fucking grabbed it. Fuck it. Let's do it. So I grabbed it, thought of the name, and then some shit went down. They raided my house. They found the name, the brand. They tied it together, and I went to prison for it. I did a violation because of the name.
And you were doing clothing?
I was doing clothing.
And they put you, wait. So you went to prison because you were
I was doing clothing, but just the name was Unauthorized Ink. And they said, it's a coincidence. The first three letters are gang, but I'm not doing gang clothing. You know what I mean? I don't have no sides on it.
So they tied it to your ties to the gang.
And my mom was like, why that now? I go, regardless, Mom, I could be a 60-year-old tax-paying community service dude. If I get pulled over by the police, I'm the 18-year-old kid, no matter what. No matter what. I still, to this day, I get pulled over. I get the fucking luxury service. You know what I mean? Hands up, get out, boom. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be for the rest of my life. So I took it, you know, and I turned it to a positive. You know, if I'm going to go hard as I did, writing on those walls, rolling up on some people, all the energy I put into that, I know if I put it to this, I can make something happen. And it's taken us around the world. You know, we have people like my homeboy was busted with one of our enemies. We inspired him so much. He got our logos tattooed all over him. So that to me says something. When I'm in Russia and this dude comes up, look, has my logo tattooed on him. It's like, damn, we're doing something. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of people don't know the background, but that's what it is. You know what I mean? And, you know, we carry ourselves a certain way, you know, we still have that kind of like prison mentality, but that's what got us to where we're at. When you could run my name and you're not going to find nothing bad. You're not going to hear.
Speaking of the prison mentality, like I said, I've traveled with Tiny a lot. He still washes his clothes in the sink.
Even my kid's mom was like,
I'd be like,
we got a washer and dryer.
You could send them downstairs. They'll launder them for you. Like, they'll come pick them up at the room. You send them downstairs. They'll come back all folded in a little basket or bag. And there you are, pressed. But no, he wants to wash his chones in the sink.
It's just some stuff
and
you can't let go.
Hang them on the shower rod inside the.
That's over in New York.
We go into Tiny's room and it's like, what the fuck? And there's fucking clothes all hanging all over the place, like drying, like, homie. But yeah. So, but your shop is also called
Level 4.
Yeah. So tell me about that.
So Creeps thought of the name Level 4. You know, at first I was like, yeah, it's a little, you know what I mean?
Explain that to people.
Well, level 4 is the highest level in the California prison system.
Highest level meaning?
That's maximum security.
Okay.
So to come off that yard with a good name, you know what I mean? A lot of people get involved in politics. A lot of people get involved with dope. A lot of people get involved with certain shit, you know what I mean? And you got to come out with a good name. You got to carry yourself a certain way. I was just myself. I didn't portray myself as anybody. I'm just who I am. And, you know, it's either black or white. Straight up. Black or white. Even on our paperwork, it tells you straight up. It's like, this is what it is. And we're not going to question it, you know? It's just, you read it, you know it, you signed it. That's it. So it's like, the energy at our shop is like pure. You know what I mean? I don't got to worry about anything. I don't got to worry about what most shops go through. You know, you hear drama at all these shops, you know, let alone that we're just in it for the past year because we barely opened it before the pandemic, but everybody knows what it is. This is how we carry ourselves. This is how we function. And then when it came to the kids, cause we're right there next to, a junior high, and someone has level 4 and I ran it down to them. And I'm like, but the way I want to push is like, you can go to any level you want in life, you know, start pushing. You got to fucking carry yourself a certain way. You got to do stuff a certain way and you can get wherever you want without a college degree. You know, I was telling these kids, you know what? Fuck school. School's a waste of time. I go, but you have to do it in the society. Learn how to read, learn how to write. I go, it's fucked up. They don't teach you how to do taxes, how to build credit, real life shit. You know, you could go to college and get a $200,000 loan, be in debt, but they can't give you a $20,000 loan to start a business. You know, you got to open your eyes to this shit. You know, you can go to any level you want. And that's how I was pushing to these kids.
Mm-hmm. So what do you do? Like, I know you have retail and
the tattooing.
The tattoos.
Yeah. So yeah, we opened the shop, retail tattoo shop right on the corner of Not in Orange.
Not in Orange in Anaheim.
In city of Anaheim.
What's the IG for the shop?
_level_IV.
There you go. So and that's pretty much where you spend most of your time now is between that shop and New Mexico. You're mostly in the shop.
I come out to the shop, do my part, make sure everything's, I have my hands in the whole visual. I'm the whole visual over there. So it's hard to do the IG and stay up with that, but I do it, but it's just like, I want to keep that fresh look. I got to keep that vibe. Like people love coming to our shop.
Yeah.
They come in and we made a lot of friends. They just come and, hey, how's it going? And, like they bring us food, they bring us coffee, like people feel comfortable, even though like, the way we look.
I'll leave that one alone too.
Some people like they see the name, they know what affiliation we have, but then they come and they hang out and it's just a whole different perspective,
And it's in your own neighborhood.
Yeah, it's right there.
In the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood. You still see the tagging right there, but I don't condone that, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? I go, what we're doing here is different. I don't give a fuck where you're from. My doors are open.
And who's tattooing out of there?
Well, right now it's me. Got my boy Trigger, Morgan.
Shout out Trigger.
Yeah, Trigger.
You got IG?
Trigger Joe 74.
Trigger Joe 74.
J-O 74.
Just J-O.
Yes.
Trigger Joe
74.
J-O 74.
Yeah, he was when I was I picked up a lot of tattoo game from him.
Yeah.
I transferred to another joint to right there in Lancaster, and we just clicked, you know what I mean? And next thing you know,
where'd you meet him?
In Lancaster. We're in the gym, level 4 yard.
Mm-hmm.
And I seen him tattooing, peeping game. And I was like, at that time, I just barely started like doing letters. And I go, yeah, I tattoo. And then next thing I know, I'm doing a sleeve on this kid and just picking up game. And the next thing you know, Lucky rolls in. So it was a trip. This was what, 20 something years ago, huh? 99.
Damn. That's when he did all this. He did all my
I did his whole head.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
It's hard to see right now.
Yeah, we're gonna hit it with some big sleeves ink. Make that shit pop out.
You gonna go over that thing again?
As soon as he lets me work on his back.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Did you do a back? You worked on it?
He did a lot of work on me.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's who else? It's Trigger, Mo's there.
Me, we just hired a new artist yesterday.
Shout out Mo.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a shit.
She's the shit.
Yeah,
I love her.
Just good people. Badass artist.
Yeah.
Dude, that shit she's doing with the cars.
Oh my God.
Fuck.
The detail.
Yeah, dude. Insane. Insane. Like just so who else?
We just hired a new artist yesterday, and I got this youngster with us right now that's he's coming up, learning the game.
Mm-hmm. So what do you see? Did COVID fuck you up too much, like in general, with your lifestyle and your business, or did you kind of just roll with it and enjoy it as much as you could and kind of take a breather?
I like, once again, the prison mentality.
Yeah.
I'm in a block with people. Right when you walk in the block, it said people with HIV, AIDS, hepatitis. They're all in this building. You don't know who's who. So I was like, fuck. And then soups and toilet paper were hard to get out here. I'm like, fuck, I'm used to this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like, it was the best thing for my brand, my company. And I think people that are self-employed, who are hustlers, survived the COVID. It was good for us, for a tattoo shop that just opened. And then 3 days later, we had a big grand opening all weekend. People come and started to come Monday and Tuesday to get booked tattoos. And then Wednesday we shut down. I'm like, fuck, what do I got to do, But we're just like, fuck it. We're not stopping. We got to pay bills. We kept on going. People still walking in during the COVID. The heat of COVID. Hey, I want to get a sleeve. Let's do it. How much you charge? I threw a price out there. Let's start. Boom.
So you just kept it moving.
Just kept it moving.
A lot of people did.
Yeah.
I know a lot of dudes did here too. They just closed the door.
That's it.
Just let them in, close the door, handle your shit, and keep it moving. After that, like, we kind of did the same thing. We had too much fucking work, dude. Like it was
there's a lot of work.
We took, I think, a week, 2 weeks maybe, where I would pop in, a couple of us just pop in, check some shit, and do what we had to do, and then, I enjoyed it. I hadn't done I hadn't painted in years. Like I did a bunch of paintings that no one will probably ever see. But just doing some shit at the pad and catching up with some stuff and spending some time with the family. So it wasn't all bad for us at all either, Holmes. It was, our online business did pretty good, but overall it wasn't that bad. obviously for, you know, my friends that got sick, you know, they got COVID or they lost a loved one, you know, that was obviously the bad part of it. But besides that, like, you know, we're here now, and it looks like we've pretty much made it through that shit. So what's next for you? What's the rest of 22 look like? I mean, 21 and 22. What's up with you?
Well, my main goal is to hire more artists. Once I get the artists, you know, everyone's expecting me. Oh, you're gonna be tattooing at the shop. I'm like, at this point of my life, you know, I got 2 machines with my name on it. I got a tattoo shop.
What's up with those 2 machines?
Well, we did I released 2 machines in the same month. One was with Bishop Rotary. We did a signature series, Phantom. Mm-hmm. And then I released.
Shout out Franco Vescovi,
man. That dude's the greatest, man.
He is.
He's the best.
That's the homie. I love that guy.
He's
funny as fuck, too.
Yeah, good people. Good
dude.
And then I did a coil machine with Norm, rest in peace.
Oh, shit. Oh, you were close to Norm too, right?
Yeah, I mean,
you guys had traveled right before he passed.
Yeah, we were in China.
You were on that trip with him, huh?
Yeah,
we were and then China. You came back, and that's when the shit happened.
When he passed, yeah, it was a shock because like I've met Norm in different places, linked up with them. You know, I wasn't the everyday with him, but he inspired me. That dude he had a work ethic that was like not real. You know, he was just hustling. You know. And he took to me, and we did his machines, and we planned shit out, and we had talks, and then he passes away. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? You know, we had shit to do, you know?
Yeah.
So, my homeboy from, Hawaii came down and went to his funeral, and then he's all like, I want to see where you grew up, Tiny. I said, let's go down. I'll show you the neighborhood real quick. So we're driving down and show how this is the fucking, I got shot out at this burger joint. Mm-hmm. They shot at me right here, you know? They drove by and shot at me. And I turned my head and there's for rent. So I said, fuck, I'm going to try it. You know, there was times we tried to open shops in that area, but it wasn't the right time. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to get right when I got out, but it was a whole different agenda on my head, you know? Yeah. So I pursued it, called it. We met the people. Then I called my homeboy back that I was with from Hawaii. I go, hey, I met up with the people. He goes, you got it. It's yours.
Like
Don't
that?
You got it. I go, they have to do the credit check. You know, he goes, it's yours. It's yours.
This was the landlord?
No, this was my friend that I was driving with, and we were connected through Norm.
Oh, okay.
And, I was, well, we got to go through the check. So I go home and I get a call. We got the place. I'm like, what the fuck? Dope, you know?
How do you know?
Huh?
How do you know you got it?
Johnny called me. He's like, hey, we got the keys. After a week after we had that meeting, it was like 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. They called us to say, you guys got the place. So we got the place and I get to this spot and just tripping like this is something I wanted 17 years ago and it happened. You know, all the hard work we put into it.
Manifested it too.
I manifested it too. And all the sleepless nights and all those times not seeing my kids and grinding and missing out on parties, you know, it finally came. And then, the day I did my health check, they came, I was nervous because like we put all this money into the shop. What if we don't get the tattoo license? What are we going to do? You know? So we passed. And then the next day I was setting up for my tattoo and I was excited. My first tattoo at my very first shop. And I get a text and it said Norm. This is after he passed. And I was like, what the fuck? I just got these chills, you know?
No way.
And there were signs, you know what I mean? Like
you just said you got a text from him.
I got a text from Norm.
From his phone.
After he passed. I open it and it says, Mom. And she's all, Tiny, I know Eric's looking down on you. He's proud of you. He's doing this. And it put a feeling over me. You know, there's certain signs that I seen, but I was like, oh, I'm just feeling a little bit vulnerable in this area. So I don't want to think, oh, that's because of that. But then I started looking at stuff and reading it differently. And he's still working in my life. And then a couple weeks, like 2 months later, his mom calls me, I got something for the shop. I don't know if you want it. She sends me pictures of this electric chair that they use in the hundreds, a 100 show he did a while back. And then I sent Trigger to go get it. And he's been at that place where it was at. So it was kind of like full circle. Like different stuff started popping up. then Franco gifts me a machine that they did with Bishop Rotary. And when I was in China, he did the machine for me. He goes, so what's up with your machines? I go, it's hard for me to sell them. You know, I don't want to sell them. You know, they're attached to me. They're mine, you know, and they just sit there, you know. Yeah. I probably used it once and I've had them for years. And we're talking. So, okay, when we get back, we have these frames. What do you want to do with it? He goes, I got you. We'll just build them and you just take care of me later. You know what I mean? Sell them. I want you to sell them. I said, because the first wrap we did on the machines were top ramen. I mocked the top ramen label with Ink, and on the bowl was Nissan, and we put Norm in there, and it just mocked up the soups, because that was my first currency I made when I was tattooing. Yeah. That was my first form of currency, was the soups. So I said, the next one I want to do the dollar. The next one I want to do the yen. And I had them all planned out. So when they gave me the machine, I opened it and it had $100 bills wrapped around the thing. I'm like, what the fuck, you know? And I just start taking everything. People that he worked, like, it's still going on today. Like, people that he was associated want to work with me, and we're doing this. And it's just a trip. Yeah. It was a trip.
So that's kind of just been a part of your life ever since then.
Yeah. It's just like, yeah.
It's been not lingering, but it's been.
The signs are there.
So where does that take you into 22? Like, what are you trying to do? Just hire more artists? And
well, that's the vision, is to hire more artists. But as far as my way of thinking, I just got to get through today first. Yeah, I mean, I need to finish today, and then I can worry about tomorrow when I wake up. Yeah. Because I don't want that stress. Yeah. I know I got shit to do. I know what it's going to take to get there, and that's it. So the future, I don't know. You know, I turn 45 next month. I want to be on a 5-year plan and just do as much as I can. And when I'm 50, I'm going to enjoy life.
And you take care of I know you take care of yourself too.
Yeah.
You change your diet.
Yeah. I changed my diet.
Go to the gym and.
Yeah. Really, because I got grandkids and I want to show them the world. I literally gave them the world. Now let's go see it. Yeah. So when I travel in the future, it's not to go tattoo so I can pay my bills, and I'm going to go tattoo because we're going to eat this tonight. We're going to see this show. Yeah. And we're going to go stay at this hotel. Yeah, so it's like, I'm going to take advantage of that, because the type of business we have, I could take it anywhere. Yeah, it's true.
So any shout outs, anything you want to say before we close it out?
Man, whoever's listening to this, whoever's had my back, you know, there's a lot of people I can name. You know who you are. You know, I appreciate everything you've done to this day. You know, thank you for helping me provide for my family and building this dream. You know what I mean? That's just, you know, I'm living the best life. I'm happy, you know. Yeah. That's the main point. It's not about money. It's not about fame. It's just being content and loving what you do for a living.
Yeah. Blessed man.
Oh, yeah.
All right. That's it.
That's it.
We're going to close it out right here with my man, Johnny Be Good, who's always talking too much. It's because I hog it up all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want to interject, be rude, jump in with my food questions, UFO questions, DMT questions.
But, yeah, thank you for making the time coming down. I appreciate it. Hope to see you again. I didn't mention Shrek at all, so we're just gonna leave it at that.
Just gotta tell the story. That shit's funny. You got to tell it.
You know, it's not a good story unless
it's funny.
You.
It's funny. I like it.
We'll leave that one for another day. But man, I love you, Tiny. Like we've had the best times, and I appreciate you and always having my back and not just supporting the brand, but me and my family as a person. Like, you know, we share a lot, and I appreciate that. And that's it. Lower Left Podcast, 17th and Island, San Diego. Unauthorized Ink, Tribal Click.
That's it.
That's right. Johnny Be Good.
We're out.